I must say, I like the use of your color here, it really makes things stand out.
I try to do different colors. So.
Yeah, this works out, because one can just take a quick scan to find something. Yeah, that's nice.
Did you turn this on?
Yes, I do. I'm ready. Nathan, we're up and running.
Okay. Meeting order at 7:07. Public comment, none. Minutes from last meeting.
I'm still going through them here
Okay.
because I didn't get an email. Did you get an email?
I didn't look. If I did, I did.
I didn't see them.
I got a question for all of you, just a time out here. Looking at what's going on in Washington, Oregon, and California, how, just basically, how different are Montana's regulations regarding forest management? And is there much of a difference?
Federal forests are managed on the federal level, so there are forest management plans for each regional forest.
They what?
And if there are regional forest management plans,
Yeah.
they're directed by the federal government.
More cleaning up of the forest floor type of thing? or-
No, so the policy for the forest management is basically hands-off, so to speak.
Oh, really?
A lot of that's driven by every logging timber sale that goes up for sale is
Mhm.
immediately filed for suit.
They what?
They file a lawsuit. Somebody
That's
files a
right.
lawsuit
I figured that.
to stop.
She's your neighbor, Peter.
What's that?
Yeah.
She lives down there above the KOA in Three Forks.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
There's one woman who files 90% of the
Interesting, interesting.
state lands obviously are managed by the state, so
Mhm.
the NRC and like the school lands are all managed at the state level.
Is there any more of an interest in cleaning up the down debris to make the
I
less?
think they would love to be able to.
That's what I figured.
The money isn't there and the ability to fight for it isn't there.
Because I'm kind of wondering if that's something we might be facing the same situation here that California and Oregon and Washington are doing. It appears to me that's why. I'm just
The-
wondering if that's something that we're likely to be facing.
The,
I speak to one logging company in general with my uncle volunteered. He got basically chased out of county because he couldn't haul, they couldn't cut, and he select cutted, ran a post and pull business, so he wasn't after large old growth timber, he was
Right.
after young, and they were thinning and not clear cutting, and it wasn't profitable because he had to haul from so far away because he wasn't allowed to be able to cut anywhere remotely near, so now they're in New Mexico.
Yeah, one of our friends who's a rancher said the other day, he said, they won't let us log, they won't let us graze, so we can sit and watch things burn. I thought that was kind of an interesting approach.
That is probably one difference. This Forest Service here is pretty good about their grazing limits.
Oh, excellent, excellent.
They are pretty good that way.
Good.
Right around here.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
But yeah,
Nice.
talking to ranchers in California, that's why a lot of that's burning is because they took away the grazing.
Yeah,
I
well,
figured so.
Wyoming's the same.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You mean the same as California?
Yeah, they're losing allotment numbers every year.
Well, thank you.
There's so much beetle kill in the forest.
Yeah, that's what gets me. So they just right up in the crown if there's a lightning strike.
Baldy's gonna be nasty.
You want to give me your signed copy when you do on that? Did you
Okay.
approve them?
Yeah, if we approve them.
Yeah, if we approve them. I didn't catch anything, did you, Peter?
Pardon me?
Catch anything on the minutes?
Nope, I'm comfortable with it.
I think they're okay. I'll move to approve as submitted. Or actually, just if nobody's objecting, just move.
Yeah. Ooh, it's even a blue pen.
You each time one? Is that?
No, just me.
Oh,
So
here.
there. Put in public record.
Oh, okay, got it.
Budget report. Mince approved and moving on.
This one.
You go,
Pardon?
we'll go in the treasurer's office.
Oh, I see. I'm gradually learning. All you're educating me. Eventually I'll be able to haul my own water here.
It takes me a while, believe me. I've been on the show.
So if Chris did anything, is his wages pulled out of the same?
So it'll come in under just the 41 or 43, 110 line.
Okay,
It's all lumped together. It's not broken down by person.
right. The same 110. That's everybody. That's you. That's
Yes.
Chris. Okay.
Well, Jessica, thanks for your help on that item regarding the Russian thistle.
Oh, yeah,
Appreciate it.
absolutely.
Where did the transfer out from weed cash go?
It went into the weed CIP. if you
The
look.
2900 one, or? I mean, on the very last page, it says a transfer out from weed cash of $2,932.76.
That was probably payroll.
Probably payroll, okay.
Payroll and other expenses, that would be how it's reflected.
And that's a monthly deal, it transfers out of cash into payroll, or?
I assume that is just how they reflect the balance from the beginning to
Out of
payroll
total.
out. It's not necessarily a transfer out as much as a
Right.
payment made out.
Okay. And do you know what CIP weed fund was at the beginning of the fiscal year? Like before any new transfers were? Or end of last fiscal
It
year?
should be, I thought I printed that one as it wasn't reflected, it didn't reflect the transfer. Maybe not.
There's a page that says CIP, and it's just blank all the way across.
Yeah, I know. So the CIP cash was the 51,000 on the last page.
Right.
Was the budget what was in CIP before the transfer,
So now we have that 90,000?
plus the 51.
90,000 plus 51. Or is that 90,000 that says the CIP weed fund on that couple pages before that, or page right before that?
So that's the reflecting the transfer. That's the journal to reflect the transfer out of the weed budget into the CIP budget. It wasn't reflected in the cash, which is the last page. It's still reflected in the weed budget in that cash page, is my understanding. Yes.
So where's the 90,000?
So the page
It's
before.
been transferred, but it's not showing on the settlement for CIP.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it's still showing as in the 2140. It hasn't moved down
Okay.
to the 4009.
Black Mountain takes a while for transactions to fully settle out.
Right. So are you saying that we truly have 141,000 in CIP?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm good. Peter, you good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions? No?
You answered most of them.
You asked most of them. Ongoing business. Grants and MOUs.
Is that right, Nathan?
Yeah, no, this is pretty much it. Just, as I said, nothing fancy, just something on paper. Make it a little easier than trying to write it all down. For me, anyways. We still ask questions and whatnot. So, anything going on with any of these?
Nope, nothing since the last meeting.
Okay.
Do you have an earmark for the special county grant?
What do you, oh, for
Or-
future, for coming up?
Well, it says awarded funds and remaining funds, so is there still the 7,500 remaining from last year's?
Yes, so it's going to go towards education supplies and maintenance, repair, and
Okay.
Onward. Spray update.
so I talked to Bob. He did not have his crew using GPS points, so he didn't have any maps. I printed his application records. However, I noticed we were missing application records from his work in May, June. And so I didn't get in touch with him soon enough to get him for today. So you guys can take a look at them and at your leisure and see if they match, and then we can come back to Bob. He said that he had gone back and retreated some of the roads that we talked about either being lightly hit or with the obvious skips. And he said, projects going forward, he'll make sure the crew uses a GPS so we can track their application and see if it matches what we see on the ground.
Another question for you, maybe an irrelevant question, but I noticed looking through this, I don't see Highway 287 on there. Is that because it was done by a different person? Or
No, and that's where I printed everything that I could find.
All right.
And so this is either we missed it in the email or
Oh, I see.
he
But
just
they
didn't
do
send.
spray, the same
But yeah,
company
so he-
sprays there.
Yep.
I figured probably, so thanks.
And then moving forward, I discussed with Michelle hiring seasonally, and she told me that as long as our job descriptions don't change, we don't need commission approval to post our positions, as long as the job description remains the same as previous. And that was part of the holdup this season in posting them with COVID and meeting times and all of that lovely, lovely fun stuff. And so, moving forward, as long as we don't change our job descriptions, we're not beholden to that and they can be posted.
Yeah.
Okay.
Native across this here in the corner.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been there. We have talked in the past about changing some of that job description.
Okay, so if we do that, let's do it December, January.
That's fine. And we'll
We'll
get it
make
done
any
early enough.
changes right at the beginning of the year or end of the year, so that we have any of that downtime.
Well, okay, so we could actually change it now because we're not going to hire another person.
Yes.
We could have it sitting in the
Yes.
realm.
We can
Ready
have
to go.
Drafted, ready to go before,
Before that, we don't have to implement it
Yes.
till December,
Yes.
whatnot. So, because we would, I know is 2 board members want changes done to that.
yeah,
And I'm
so,
sure the third one, and I don't know about your feeling, Peter, but there's a couple words in there we want changed.
so
Listen,
make your
You're the
edits.
experts.
No.
I'm learning.
Draft up what you want to see it, and then we can run it through the HR framework to make sure that it meets that guidelines, then we can definitely present it and get it.
There was only like 3 words we wanted removed. So,
It still has to be approved by Mako before we post anything.
Yep.
yeah, and that's fine. There was,
Yeah, and even if it's a minor change, just shoot it to us, and like she was
Yeah.
saying in the
Yeah.
draft, we'll
I
send
don't
it
know
off
if I
to-
have.
Yeah, we'd have to look at it again.
yeah, we haven't,
It's been a while since we've actually seen the wording of it. But
yeah, but there was, we found out some stuff and we want to
That's all.
Yeah, but.
take another look at it. So probably next meeting, let's have
Job description.
job description, the old one brought to us at least. That way we can see it and read it. And we'll kind of go from there. And that way, I mean, it's already September. Talking, is it October?
No.
Okay.
Next month.
I don't know what month it is.
So Bob continued to do some work after the last time we had a meeting.
Yes.
So those records will be updated next. Yeah, he came out and hit Ferret Lane after our last meeting, which I don't know if that did anything but waste some money, but
He told me that all of the work he has done will be gratis for us. So he's picking up those errors or skips.
Okay. So spray update.
so then as far as our equipment, is Chris done then for the year?
I'm hoping we get some moisture. We can do some other stuff, but we'll just have to see what the weather does. We're supposed to get some moisture this weekend. We'll see if that happens,
Yeah.
and if it's of sufficient quantities to spawn some regrowth. And
Yeah. All right. Subdivision management plans.
I set one out there for you. It is Bridger Brewing Minor, I believe is the title. They are splitting off a lot down on the highway. It's going to be the new MDT rest stop, and then the remainder tract is going to be commercial lots. So this is
What was that last comment?
the remainder will be commercial lots.
Ah, I see, thanks.
And so it's part of their whole Bridger project.
Oh, yeah.
The overall title for the whole thing is, do you like?
With the TED district?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's part of their thing, but this is going to be the small.
They're not running the whole TED district, they're just doing their section, or
What's that?
they're not running the whole district, are they? They're just doing their minor, splitting off their
All
lot?
they're doing is they bought the property on the west side
West
of the
side.
road from the livestock turnoff to the freightway shipping area.
Oh, yeah.
They bought that piece there. They're
Oh,
chopping
okay.
off a chunk of that for the state for a new rest stop that's supposedly going to be the biggest rest stop in the state of Montana.
I'll be
And
darned.
then they're breaking the rest of that into commercial lots.
Okay, but they're still back behind Steer Inn, aren't they?
No, so
Or
this,
part of-
they're going to
This
be.
is this is
They're all gonna move over there?
Yeah, they
Okay.
have a lot of land.
Yeah.
This is just one portion that they're breaking off.
Okay. I just see tanks and stuff getting set out there in that field behind.
Yeah, there's that huge tank over on
Yeah.
the east side there.
So is that's part of the district though,
That's
isn't it?
part of the district, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are they tying in the west side of the highway then, as part of the district, or these guys
Yes,
all gonna
they're
be
gonna-
on
Well,
septic?
They're tying that piece in, and I think there's another lot there between Wheat, Montana, and the
Mhm.
freight place. There's another lot in there that I think is getting tied in too.
So it'll have common water and common sewer, or?
Yep.
Yep.
I've heard rumors that there's gonna be a Murdoch's out there. Do you know anything about that?
I
I
think
would think
that's
it'd be-
just a rumor.
I think it'd be a pretty big rumor.
Yeah.
There might be an equipment dealer out there.
Right.
So this is their application before preliminary
Torgerson's doesn't
plat.
own the building in Belgrade,
Oh.
is what I was told.
All right.
I met with the landowner and Bill last week to walk the property, and it was clean. They haven't grazed, they hadn't done anything with it in years. There was nothing there, just grass,
Yeah.
tumble mustard, skeletons. They had hired somebody else, an environmental agency, to do their actual another inspection. She's listed on here too.
Okay.
It's fun. She did their water and soils survey, I think.
So yeah, while we're reviewing this, I'll ask, in our last minutes, you said that you were going before the commissioners with our appendix
So
Pulling that appendix
Nicole was
out.
presenting that. Did that get
on the
approved?
31st.
The pullout for the planning?
The what?
Nicole was supposed to present the planning board's recommendation or amendment to their subdivision regulations, pulling the weed plan out of the subdivision regulations.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so
Because
it's,
otherwise, every time you make a change to the weed plan, we have to make a change to the subdivision.
yep. And so
So-
did you guys, did she do that? Did it come to you guys in a commission meeting?
We're starting, we just got all of the approval to redo the subdivision regulations, so it'll be part of that process, I would imagine.
Oh, because we met with the planning board separately to pull it out.
I don't think that that's come to the commission yet.
Okay,
But it's definitely something we want to do.
yeah, yeah. And so we're just, I think, if we can get it on the next agenda,
Okay.
We haven't needed last week.
yeah. So if we can just get, because that's now the last duck in a row. Because you guys approved it in December.
It'll have to be on the agenda for not this coming Monday, but the
Yeah.
following one.
Yep.
Okay.
Peter,
Yes, sir.
wait till we approve it.
Right. Oh,
Oh.
this is my own notes I made.
Oh,
About what's happening there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is, or is this the only one?
that's the
No,
only
that's the
one.
only
Oh,
one.
shoot, I'm sorry. I wrote on there in ink, does that matter? I just put.
Probably, that's just the cover letter.
Yeah.
It should be
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was looking through. I
Oh,
thought
no,
we
that's
said
fine. We're,
Thank you for catching me on that.
The other thing I want to mention is I did tell Bill about the weed certification on the plats, so he's going to add that before preliminary plat.
okay.
Is access going to be off of Wheatland or off, well, it wouldn't even be off of Wheatland.
So the commercial access is going to be off Wheatland, I believe, and the rest stop access will be off
Off
the highway.
So it's gonna be right. See, I live right up here, that's one
Oh,
of the reasons I'm
yeah.
interested. Thanks. So it looks like it's gonna be just north of that trucking site, the trucking company.
Yeah.
Just
It's gonna-
south of Wheatland. Yeah.
So we just pull it
It'll be interesting to see if the rest area ends up in more law enforcement needs out there. Already we got,
Well, they were telling me that they were working on a lot for law enforcement. Did they talk to you guys about that?
They're what?
Working on a lot for law enforcement and ambulance service out there to give you guys a lot.
Oh, I don't know.
sure be nice if we could have one out there. So I know
So,
we
yeah,
need
they were telling me, I don't know, it was,
an emergency,
yeah, they were talking.
yeah.
Now, for fire, there's a mutual aid with
Yes, that's what I'm thinking.
Three Forks.
Yeah. But the thing is,
Or to
it's
101,
already, I
isn't
guess
it?
there's a
Huh?
lot of
Does it go to
illicit
101?
activity around town.
Is that the split or is it?
I think
Trucks,
so.
that kind of thing.
Somewhere in there.
Whatever they
anyways.
call the South District.
Yeah.
I guess the area where the rest stop is currently is also high crime area.
I never looked at that.
Uh-huh.
All right. I'm gonna multitask on you, John.
Go for it. I can do.
Vehicle and equipment update.
None right now.
Okay.
So the Chevy's still sitting there?
Yeah, I've gotta get it stripped. Yeah.
Building update.
We're waiting on an engineering firm right now for engineering on call for the county. We're interviewing several different firms right now, and we want engineers to be able to spec out and to give us a cost comparison on what, so if we go through a private industry firm, they would provide their own engineering. So we're just trying to gather enough of a cost comparison where if we had the work done privately through a private corporation, or if we were to attempt to do the work ourselves. But no change on that, because we don't have a
All right. So still in a holding pattern, but moving forward. New business. Any other new business?
Not for me.
He's multitasking hard right now.
I already threw my questions.
Yeah, I guess just maybe touch base when we get closer to our next meeting and see where our thoughts are. Yeah, revising seasonal job description,
Yeah, I want to
or at least look at it.
at least look at it. And I know there's a couple words in there we talked earlier this spring about changing.
Right.
Are you guys ready to work on non-compliance next meeting?
I would say probably next meeting.
Oh, yeah, no.
But
How about November's meeting?
November might be better for my aspect, and I mean,
Yeah, I mean, you can. What's your starting point? I guess.
yeah,
So, I mean, we'll take what our current document says, which is nothing, and then I'll bring you a couple of other counties,
I
how
get-
they've worded it, what their plans, procedures, operations are, and we can take a rough stab at where we want to go.
you know, and maybe having those ready for next meeting,
Now you guys
and then we
take
can
'em.
take them home because
Yeah.
for us to read them and
Yeah,
digest them in an hour is not going to happen for all of us.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you've got time to work on it and come up with a thought process of where to start,
No.
yeah. As far as actually hashing something out next meeting, we might be thin on attendance.
Nate, especially this whole.
Yeah, that might be.
So this doesn't go clear to the.
No.
It sits in front of the steak plant and doesn't go clear up against the fence at this point. This breakout does.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as the weed plan, it's the weed plan, and I know it's fairly clean.
Yeah.
I'll move to approve with the addition of the
Weed.
weed deal on the plat, weed statement on the plat.
Second. And away we go. All in favor?
Yeah. Aye.
That was very official.
Yes, sir, thank you.
All right.
Can I check the accepted with modifications box?
Yes.
Sure. And then you'll have to note our modification.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, news business we kind of covered under items for discussion.
Yeah. Any other items for discussion? Or did I already go over that one?
I have one. Mike and I are on the same page about doing the census. You guys can keep spreading the word. Today on the news, Montana itself is at 58%. And the census is very important because that's $20,000 a person. And right now, we're only at 58%. We have, what, 2 weeks left before it's over?
Yep.
And what would we say was like $400 million or something if we don't get that?
We lose 19 million over 20 years. That's just to get to 80%.
So you guys haven't done yours or know anything, you know, just spread the word, so.
So do they believe that because they don't have a bunch of door knockers because of COVID, or did they ever say any
Well,
reason?
what
I had a
they
door
did, they switched
knocker.
most of it to online. They weren't gonna have door knockers. And then COVID came along, then they really got knocked down on door knockers.
Yeah.
And then they said that they were gonna extend it till October. And then when they didn't pass the second COVID funding bill, that included the deadline going to October, so then they moved the deadline back to September 30th. So you got 2 more weeks for people to get reported,
Right.
or you lose, every household that doesn't do the census, you lose $20,000, which it amounts to $2,000 a year for 10 years.
Right.
So if you lose all that money, I mean, the state of Montana overall is running at 58, and that's right where Broadwater County's at. And their real goal is only 80%, because they figure that's all they're gonna get anyway. But if we're not even gonna get to 80%, that's gonna cost us a ton of money.
Right.
It's gonna hit your school, it's gonna hit any aid program from the federal government is gonna hit. Roads, transportation, all that stuff's gonna get hit by the shortness of that census.
Yeah.
And the other problem is, we've got all these people moving in here now, we don't get to count them anyway unless they sign up before then, we don't get to count them. So this huge influx of people we're getting from the West Coast, they're just gonna be basically mooching off us for 10 years.
Right. Yeah, the last thing I saw is at that 50% or wherever Montana's at, we're still 46th in the nation. So there's a
Yeah.
lot of people that aren't, I mean, across the country.
Yes, and the thing is that Broadwater County is exactly the average that the state is,
Interesting.
58%. And we're like, I think we're 10th.
Yeah. Mine was filled out the day it was released.
See, and I had
Yeah, me
somebody
too.
come over to the house last week, and she was driving with Idaho plates, and then, Mike said it takes a whopping 8 minutes on the computer to do it, and that
Yeah.
was most, you know, he's,
Yeah, and we've had a couple of those door knockers stop into the courthouse looking for addresses. So they're around, but
Not very
how
many.
complete they're gonna get, who knows?
She stopped by the road shop, wanting to know addresses. A lot of their addresses, her registration was showing like 3 or 4 residents past the road shop along that
Yeah.
same road, so.
That'll be an interesting find.
Be a long walk.
Yeah. Next meeting is October.
It's the 21st. It says the 23rd or whatever on your deal.
Okay.
So change it to the 21st.
We're gonna change it to the 21st. October 21st,
Yes,
7
sir.
o'clock.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Meeting is adjourned.
Thanks for this.
When is Allison due?
10.